Welcome to another episode of Soul Kink Therapy. My name is Emily Letts. I'm a therapeutic dominatrix based in Boulder, Colorado. And this is the show where we use conscious kink as a portal into your shadows, your shame, your most authentic self, and ultimately your liberation. Here's a phrase that I was introduced to recently that has been genuinely blowing my mind. You ready? Make the resource bigger than the pain. Let me say that one more time. Make the resource bigger than the pain. Okay, so when I heard this, it kind of took my breath away. I mean, it's just so simple, so clean. Make the resource bigger than the pain. And you can kind of do anything. Like everything is at your back when you can do this. But the second the pain gets bigger than the resource, that's when things get stuck. That's when trauma happens. That's when things collapse. And this isn't just like a therapy concept. You can apply this to anything. You can apply this to bank accounts. When the withdrawals are bigger than the incoming, things get hairy. You can apply it to public health. You can apply it to a marriage, to a body, a nervous system. Anywhere pain or draining shows up, the question is the same. Is there enough resource here to hold it? Or is the pain outrunning what's underneath it? So today I want to talk about one of my most absolute favorite ways to build resource, and that's kink and eroticism. And so this is like a perspective shift that I want to give you because I want to give you some practical tools in this episode. I want to give you a new definition of kink that I heard recently that I want to share. I want to show you how to use humiliation as one of the best tools for resourcing pain. And as well as through a practical 3-question tool you can start using tonight. But at the end of this episode, you'll have language and a process, not just a feeling. Let's go. So the first thing I want to give you is a new definition of kink. I recently went to this talk by this teacher, Z Griss. Z is in the letter Z and Griss. And they define kink this way: sexual desires, behaviors, and identities that challenge social approval, giving you the opportunity to explore your courage, shame, pleasure, and liberation. Ugh, I love it. Ugh. Say that back to yourself next time shame shows up. Seriously, this isn't deviance. It's like courage rep. It's like building your courage muscles. That is what kink is. Now, the old lens that we often find is what's wrong with me? The new lens, what is this asking me to practice? That reframe alone is the first move in making the resource bigger than the pain, because the pain held under an old shame lens stays pain. Do you know what I'm saying? The same pain held under this lens already starts becoming something else. So let's talk about this a little bit deeper. I want to talk about humiliation, one of my most favorite topics, along with sissification. Okay, I know I'm going to say this word, and everyone who's listening is going to be like, ears perk up. They're going to get all rowdy if they're listening to this in the car, because sissification is the word in the crossdressing community. It's everything anybody wants, even when they're like, I'm transgender, this is part of my identity. That sissification is still always somewhere tied to the mycelium of how their eroticism shows up. It's just so common. So I want to make all of this like a real concrete with a real case study, because I think it's, again, one of the most misunderstood kinks out there, sissification. So here's the pain underneath it almost every time. So many men have absorbed one brutal, simple belief: I have failed as a man. It's not about being tough enough, not providing enough, not wanting the things men are supposed to want, wanting things that men aren't supposed to want. That belief actually sits in the body like a stone, and it rarely gets spoken out loud, because saying it out loud feels like proof that it's not true. So if you're listening to this and you are a man, identify as a man, say it out loud to yourself. I have failed as a man. And just see what happens in your body. So, sissification takes that exact belief and does something the culture around these men never do. It names it out loud, on purpose, inside a container where it's actually safe to say it. And that's the key difference. The naming isn't the wound. The naming, done inside consent and care, becomes the medicine. Sissification. So I want to walk you through a specific exercise, one I learned from a teacher of mine, Om Rapani. And it goes like this. Okay. So say you have a sub and a dom and they're facing each other. The dom is going to say to the sub, "Give me my prompt." The sub then offers one sentence, something that carries real, honest to God shame for them. So something like, "I failed as a man, so I can only be useful as a woman." Then the sub says, who just said that, they say, "Now please give me my medicine." The dom then repeats that exact phrase to them in, their own delicious, deliberate way. The sub feels it, lets it really hit them, sits with it, and then when they're ready, they say, "Please give me my medicine again, please." And they just go back and forth until that sense of shame really cracks open. And humiliation is actually working, not just landing as pain, when there's a specific sensation. It's like this type of like cracking open, or it's like a stomach flip. I've talked about this before. Like you've just been caught doing something bad. That is the feeling that is the beginning pathway into subspace. And there's a psychological reason this matters. Psychological stress and physical stress on the body trigger the same response. Both flood you with the same feel-good hormones the body uses to cope. The nervous system doesn't fully distinguish between "I just got caught in danger" and "I got caught in a scene you choose." Right? It doesn't know that this is fake. Your body is just like, "Whoa, cracking open, oh my God." Which brings me to the actual resourcing mechanism. This exercise only works as medicine, not just as like a painful experience, because everything surrounding it. Hopefully, my assumption is you trust the dom you're working with. You've negotiated safe words. Aftercare is built in. You've consented specifically and enthusiastically to go here. That is an enormous amount of resource in place before you ever even touch the pain. You're not stumbling into the shame unprepared, you're walking into it fully held. And that is the whole difference. And some of you might know this already, but I'm going to say it again because here's what the research and my own experience both point to. The single biggest predictor of whether pain becomes trauma stuck in the body isn't the intensity of the pain. It's actually the feeling of helplessness. It's the absence of consent. Pain you choose inside a container you built, surrounded by people who have your back. That pain here has somewhere to go. Pain that happens to you with no choice and no container, that's the shit that gets stuck and you end up reliving it over and over and over for years in every relationship you have until you actually address it. So when a man says his most shameful sentence out loud, inside a scene he asks for to somebody he trusts, and he gets to say, "Again, please," he is not reliving his failure. He is taking the exact belief that's been collapsing him in silence for years and handing it to someone who can finally hold it with him. That is resource. That's the whole model made real. Get it? Ooh, let's take a breath. Whew. Okay, so here's the other thing. Here's another tool. How you build this resourcing yourself, you can do this in 3 questions, out loud or written down. The first question: And this is to address your kink. To address any kink, anything that you have shame around, but specifically a kink that like you're getting off around, but you have shame around it. I want you to ask yourself, what is this actually giving me? So say it's cross-dressing that you have a lot of disgust around or shame around or whatever. Say it's latex, say it's chastity, it doesn't really matter. So name it specifically, this kink blank, and then is giving me blank. Is it giving you release? Is it giving you connection? Is it giving you permission to feel something that you don't get to feel anywhere else? Name it. Do this. Don't skip this step. Second question. What does the shame want me to believe? So say the shame around cross-dressing. And don't argue with it. Just like what are the oppressive forces? What does the society that you're challenging want you to believe? So, for example, I can say, what's an example from my own life? Well, one of the initial ones that I had a lot of shame around was being submissive in the first place. And that's because I believed that society said if you are submissive as a woman, you are giving into stereotypes of weakness. You have to be the strong one. You don't get to be soft. You don't get to be intuitive. You don't get to be in your feminine because the feminine isn't successful. The feminine is weak. The masculine, the holder, the one in the control, that is the strength, the power that you as a woman need to embody to rebalance out misogyny and patriarchy. Right? That's what society wanted me to believe. So just name it for yourself. What does the shame want you to believe? And question 3. If this is a resource, not a flaw, what does it resource for me? Let me say that again. If this is a resource, not a flaw, what does it actually resource for me? Does it give you more presence at work? Does it give you more patience with your kids? Does it give you the ability to say no to something actually harmful? Like, what is this actually giving you? Because it is giving you something. And let it be like it could be feeling alive. It gives me time to refresh myself. It gives me whatever it is. That's the practice. Pain in, resource out. Pain in, resource out. We want all of the resource. So, one last thing. This isn't just a private wellness trick that I'm talking about. A man who can hold his own shame instead of being run by it in silence is a man who's much harder for the overall system to control through fear. And when I say the overall system, I'm talking about misogyny. I'm talking about patriarchy. I'm talking about these systems that have been embedded in our being, these rules that are meant to control us, that sex is bad, that we should be ashamed of ourselves, that we should not like our bodies. All of these are tools in order to control us. Shame needs isolation to survive. So every time you do this work, you name it, you choose it, you hold it, you get off on it, you are taking that power back. So redefine it. Understand it through consent and a container. Run the 3 questions. That's your framework. Pain doesn't just have to be survived. It can become medicine. Let kink be your medicine. Let cross-dressing be your medicine. Let's do it together. And if you need a place to do it together, check out Outrageously Her. That is what we're all about. This 4-month cohort that I'm beating the internet to death with because we were in the recruiting phase. We launched July 28th, 2026. Put your application in, meet us, be with us, be in the joy, be in the kink, be in the fetish, be in the fun, be in the play, be in the resourcing of this so that your pain gets to finally move. Don't waste another day, don't waste another year, don't waste another relationship. It's time to wake up. You got this.